Hello?
What's up, girl? What happened after Tony dumped you?
Girl, I'm over it. I went from heartbreak to hate.
Good Lord. That was loud.
That was insanely loud.
Okay, so...
Bob is trying to take all of my hearing.
No.
Yes, actually.
Sure there's a spell for that.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Hello, Joy.
I've already said your name, Bob.
Yeah, well, I like it when people say my name, when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you.
Destiny's Child is in the past. Let's move on.
Destiny's Children.
Although I guess we are going to discuss the past first, aren't we?
The past.
The
You can only talk about the past to understand the future. Right?
Somebody wiser than you said that.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson. So we are talking about Witchcraft Part 2, Part Deux.
Part Deux.
Deux. And we wanted to start this epi off with
History
lessons. So Salem witchcraft trials, right, happened, but there's all kinds of witchcrafts going on, people being murdered before that here in the States, or colonies, as they were.
That's right.
Remember that word, kids?
From middle school, it's probably the last time most people have heard colony used.
Well, I mean...
Well, no, that's right, because colonizer is a word now.
It's totally a word now, and
So,
it's like, let's take it back.
Second life.
Yes. So what happens if you were never a colonizer?
Then you're one of the good people.
I don't think so. I think all white people are horrible. Anyway,
Wow.
So things...
Notice the white man said that.
Do you have any... should we go through the list of things nowadays that would make you get killed as a witch?
Looking at somebody wrong.
What could you do now? What do we as a society do that in the past you may have been burned or tortured, water tortured, or crushed by stones?
Well, definitely all these bitches running around with crystals, you know.
Oh yeah.
Making their own concoctions and brews and
Like I'm looking at your hazel latte lip chap.
Oh yeah. If you were busy mixing up a whole bunch of different essential oils and herbs and stuff and trying to make your own home,
No.
Which,
Yeah.
And definitely don't do it in a black pot, circular.
And definitely don't cook that pot in like the woods.
No.
Naked. With other women.
With a black cat.
Dancing.
Dancing is evil.
Dancing was evil. So all those gay clubs
What was the term I heard
burn.
somebody say that was like a foot fancy, a foot shuffle? I don't know, but it was like we couldn't use the word dance. We had another word
what
they had
was
to
that?
use. I don't remember. But
yeah, footwork.
and it's just like back then there had been a lot of things that have been suspect, because once you start to suspect one person, ooh, she looked at me strange, I think she's a witch.
It's kind of like after you meet somebody who cheats on their spouse, then you're like, oh, this is all the things that they did that you could easily see. And so then from now on, you're like, oh, you took 4 extra minutes at the grocery store. You're obviously cheating on me.
Right.
You know,
setting up a date with another bitch.
Because knowledge is sometimes power, but also sometimes corrupts your mind.
It really does. Because our minds are built to look for patterns.
Right.
So you get one thing and you're like, ooh, I'm rolling with this equation. Let's go.
They're also built to, once we understand something, be all-knowing on that subject.
That's true.
Right?
I don't know anybody like that.
I've never met anybody either because I never got to meet myself.
Tell the people more.
Okay.
While I roll my eyes.
Well, there's lots of witches, accused witches as such, mostly accused by others who didn't want to necessarily be seen as witches themselves. Yeah. So nothing's changed in the world.
Yes, we are always pointing fingers at other people.
We're always saying it's the other group of people doing it. Yeah, so I mean, we've learned nothing since 1692 other than smallpox is gone from America, which now that people aren't vaccinating their fucking horrible beasts of children, we might actually have smallpox again. So it could be 1692 again next year. We never know.
Yeah, what was it, like measles or whatever?
Measles.
Come back?
Yeah.
That's another topic for another day.
Yeah, we can talk about vaccinations some other time. So is there anything you think super interesting about the witchcraft trials as they were? I mean, you know,
I think the ludicrous idea that you, like how it passed muster with anybody in their mind, where the evidence is, if we weigh you down and throw you into a lake and you drown, you're innocent. But if you float, you're a witch. Like the fact that
if you die, you're innocent, but
Right.
you're gonna die
Mm-hmm.
if you aren't innocent.
Right. But if you live, you're still gonna die
Yeah.
because you're guilty. So whoever came up with that and everybody else was on board was like,
Because witches float.
you know what it is? It's just like bad ideas, right? You don't necessarily blame the first person who had the idea. I blame the person who co-signed it.
No, absolutely. And their buckle that they wore on their hat.
Yes. So I don't know. To me, that's the most mind-blowing thing.
Because it's
read
the
about.
same thing as like slavery. Like somebody was like, well, we could go get a bunch of people and like bring them on boats and take them over and make them do everything for us. And then that person's like, well, I really don't have a boat. But let me tell my friend, John Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And John Smith will say, hey, I got a boat.
Let's make this happen.
Let's make this happen.
Let's make this dream
And then
come
they go to
true.
a pub and they talk to some other white dude. And then that white dude talks to 5 other white dudes. And then it gets back to the queen. And the queen's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. That's history.
Mm-hmm.
That's my history.
Maybe we should just change to being a history podcast because we explain it so beautifully.
I think, and so like in a very intellectual way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dudes, bros, hoes, queens. So
We inspire deep thinking. That's what we're here for.
it's what we're here for. What I think is interesting about witchcraft back in that day is that it was, a capital offense in the colonies,
Mm-hmm.
but within less than like 100 years, it was taken off. I think it was actually like somewhere in the 1700s that it was taken out as a murder, a capital offense and a, murder offense.
Do you think that people felt like, oh, we've cleansed ourselves of the witches, so that's why they're able to do it?
I think maybe what happened was that some of the colonist people here were maybe inbred.
Okay.
And then we started getting more, people coming to the colonies from other countries and, more people coming to America in that way and maybe broadening the horizons. Because, Europe did their whole thing of burning, killing, slaughtering people in the name of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they were like, hey, we kind of stopped over here for a while. So, and then maybe they were just like, yeah, we really couldn't prove anything. So, and law
Yeah.
evolved as, actually finding someone guilty for real and not just saying if they die, then they're innocent.
Right. And kind of just having this idea that maybe we should start off with you're innocent and we have to prove you're guilty.
Plus, I think they had other things to do, like murdering Native Americans. So they just moved on. They moved out west. That's what they did.
They did. Well, is that really... Yeah, I guess that would be true. I'm sorry. I had to go back to history in school, do a
Yeah.
little timeline. I had to draw it out in my mind.
Yeah,
But-
Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah. But I mean, at that point, they had many more people to kill because not only were they killing Native Americans, they were busy killing black people off. So,
Well, true. Yeah.
I don't get
And then converting them to Christianity forcibly. Another podcast.
Well, part of this, I mean, it gets into, once again, going back to kind of to, sorry, English just left my whole mind. That happens,
Voodoo.
kids. Yes, hoodoo. And then, later on we're going to talk about voodoo and Santeria. So,
Yeah.
because people get very confused and it's easy to understand why, I would say.
I think so. But yeah. That's all I really have to say about that.
Okay.
I mean, unless you've got something to talk about.
No, I mean, maybe we should dive into, we talked about hoodoo a little bit in our part, if you will. See, do you know? Is number one in French.
Master P. I know Master P. He's French.
Oh, God. No, he is not. That's wonderful.
He's from
Now
Louisiana.
now I have that song in my head.
I know.
I hate your face. I'm trying to talk serious.
No.
But-
Okay.
So kids. Voodoo or Vodou, Vodun, voodoo. I think most people would probably say that voodoo is not the correct way to say it. It's just kind of like everything else that gets slaughtered. It's,
It's colonized.
I love it when you say it. I just pause and I wait, and then I go, "Black girl didn't say it."
Yeah. I think there's a safe space for you and our listeners for you to comment on.
I do. I know. They love us. They're understanding.
Us
They
chalk
got it.
kids.
But anyways, it voodoo comes from Haiti and is different than hoodoo. And I hope you remember, kids, and if you don't, go back and listen to that episode. Is different in that it is its own religion.
Right.
So voodoo has its own god, its own aspects. I think the thing that's confusing is that both voodoo, Santeria, and hoodoo all kind of have this like sprinkling of Catholicism. You know what I mean? Where they've all are entangled with this idea of the saints in some way or another, or certain aspects that are
Candles.
usually related to Catholicism. Because, as we explained, the human mind, this
It's
is how
very
I do it, so
yeah.
they must have taken it from this thing. It couldn't be
Obviously.
their own. It couldn't be that
No.
multiple things use similar tools.
And I'm sure if you go back into history, some white person said that they created voodoo in America and like gave it to African American people in Louisiana.
I don't want to talk about that.
I mean,
Because that's probably
kind
true.
of what we do.
Yeah, just go around claiming things.
Yes.
What's that ridiculous movie where the guy's like, it was Romeo and whatever. They said we invented Post-its. It's like, come on.
Oh, Romeo and Michelle.
Yes, Romeo and Michelle.
The
So
viscosity of the glue. Okay, go ahead.
it started over there in Haiti, eventually worked its way to Louisiana. And
Which aren't too far away from each other.
No, not too far at all. But my understanding now is, and because I am not a practitioner of that or anything,
Correct.
but that there's the two branches are very different. Like the way it's practiced in Louisiana is very different than the way it is in Haiti.
Oh, yeah, I think the severity and the more tribal aspects of.
Yeah, and I think like some of the spirits kind of change to, like you said, the ritual and whatnot changes.
And it's actually, it's kind of like creating a more modernized version of a being of sorts, I guess.
Yeah. But I think the other thing that kind of makes it feel like it seems similar to hoodoo is because there is this idea of ritual and, there's kind of like a magical sense to it for sure. And sometimes people just aren't smart and we miscategorize things and change things up and whatnot.
So for everyone listening, we're talking about two different types of religion, magic practices that in America have been thrown everything into one. So
People always say voodoo.
no one knows hoodoo. If you say the word hoodoo, you actually are one of those people that are in the know of hoodoo. Or you're a white person who read hoodoo once on Wikipedia.
I can't with you.
Because you are I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, because I was just going to make up a word and then I couldn't figure it out.
You couldn't figure out what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
Were you going to say like hoodooonian or something?
Yeah,
I knew
that's something
I felt that's where you were
similar,
going.
yeah,
I was like,
because you are genetically DNA. You have chromosomes that make
ancestors,
you
yeah.
actually a hoodoo priestess.
Well, now see, let's not get carried away. I don't know that I would call myself a priestess. That's what you would do.
That's what white people would do.
I know.
I'm just trying to represent.
I mean, I appreciate you giving me a promotion and everything. Yeah, I would not.
Is there even priestess in that?
No.
I don't think. Yeah.
No, I think most people just kind of say that they're, conjure
Practitioners.
workers,
Yeah.
workers. I think that back in the day, a lot of the men took on the title of doctor.
That is true.
You know what I mean? But I don't know that. If you want to call me Dr. Joy, listen, I'm not opposed.
It sounds like you should be like describing how well a sex toy would fit in your vagina.
Yes, I was gonna say, if I called myself Dr. Joy, I have to go and get a night sex show for sure. But listen, I love Sue.
Well, yeah, I know we've
Talk
discussed
sex
that
with
before.
Sue.
Yeah, Sue
She would
Johansson.
many times tell you she's a doctor, but I would not correct people. I'm like, if you send me a letter to Dr. Joy, I'll answer.
You can send a letter to Dr. Joy. Are you gonna get a new email or?
I should, kids. I'm gonna get a new email. I'm gonna get it, but maybe you guys should comment on our Instagram and tell me what email I should have exactly.
Yeah.
Just straight Dr. Joy. I feel that's probably taken.
Yeah.
That'll put some flair on it. Think about it, kids. Get back to me.
Maybe doctor with an R-E at the end. I don't know. Like Doctre.
Doctor. Okay.
I don't know.
Sidetrack.
It's fun to get sidetracked.
It
because
is.
That's,
No, it's good.
It's organic.
Oh. I like organic. I like artisanal.
Ugh,
Don't really. I know.
white people. Anyway.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
They've invaded my mind. So anyways, if I may just mix the soup up a little bit more and pop Santeria
the
in
gumbo.
there real quick.
Oh, now
The
we're
gumbo-
so not even gumbo nice. See, we're throwing other things in there.
Now
Okay.
we're throwing other things.
Santeria.
Another religion.
Another separate.
So completely separate. Started in Cuba.
Right.
My understanding.
I think believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely got more like Latin flair to it, but still started
Latinx.
by thank you. But started by obviously the slaves there, and has a different. I think Santeria is Yoruba based. Now I can't speak.
Okay.
Whereas Vodou is different. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the group that it comes from.
No.
But just know it's somewhere else.
Right.
Not the same people.
Right.
And so,
Keep going.
it just went to night in here, kids. It threw me off.
We had a power surge.
I got scared.
We're talking about witchcraft, and witchcraft happens. Either that or programmable lights.
I was like, maybe I made one of the Santeria gods mad because it didn't go dark until I said that.
No,
Now,
the lights are just set to go dim when it gets the sun goes down.
I was setting a better scene, but if you
Right.
want to correct it and take away from my drama, that's just like what a white
Oh,
person
now
would do.
I'm not dramatic and you are. Okay,
That's
moving
right.
on.
But that's right. Listen, I reserve the right to just up my drama whenever I like and then dial it back down.
That's neat.
You know what? I hate when he ignores it. Anyways, I will just talk to you, boys and girls. So anyways, as I was saying, from a different place in Africa, different rituals, yet a whole nother god, right? Because it's its own religion. But really cloaked in a lot of secrecy. I can't tell you a lot about Santeria because a lot of it is definitely, like, I think what you know on the surface,
Yeah.
and then when you're really in it and initiated, it's
I don't
completely
feel
different.
that we, as the people that we are, can discuss Santeria.
Right. But wise enough to know it and say it. Just
Yeah.
to point out the differences that we know of, and then to be wise enough to say, we don't know much more, so
But also-
we're not going to misrepresent.
Also Catholic based in the saints as well. Similar to hoodoo.
But see, the thing
Almost
is,
said
the thing
Hulu.
I feel about that is, given who practiced these religions and really kind of popularized it, amongst their own people, it makes sense that they've all got some kind of Catholic attachment, because I'm sure a lot of it was cloak and dagger. Like hoodoo hoodoo practitioners weren't the only ones trying
Right.
to, you know what I mean, like disguise what they were doing and be able to still, practice what they want. So you have to figure out how to kind of make it work.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's really, and
What
then
works
that's
for you.
like the thing of people who are disenfranchised everywhere. There's always some aspect of your life where you're just having to figure out how to make it work. So,
Right, because you have like. I just lost my train of thought there. Shockingly,
I was gonna say English left you too.
left me. It's left me all. Yeah, it's been expunged, like expelled, exercised.
Wow.
All those things from my
You're
body.
giving us such a vocabulary. I appreciate it.
I try.
here
Sometimes,
for it.
sometimes my tumor goes away. So, if you were any type of person you wanted to be, and could freely 100% live in the rituals of these things, of any type of witchcraft or religion, what would you want to be?
That's hard to say because it's like I'm gonna choose hoodoo, but now if you changed the question and said I had to exclude that option and choose something different,
Since you already are.
right? Well, I'm gonna need clarification. You didn't say that in your
Oh,
question,
good
and I will
Lord.
find a loophole. I have been known since college to find a loophole.
She's also known to use a coupon past the expiration date and complain about it.
I did not complain about it. When I noticed that it was wrong, I'm like, oops, my bad. See, you be trying to change the story. Now, we'll use you
I am a
coupon
colonizer.
as-
I will use that to my,
Right, and
my
just
advantage.
misrepresent truths. I swear.
Have you been to America? Anyway,
Okay. You know what? I would say, I'm going to say Santeria because I know the least about it. And so I think my curiosity would be like, I would be initiated in something I might not even know much about. I'd be like, I'm going to find out more after? Let's go.
yeah. So, not more.
Plus, a lot of times people confuse me for Latinx, so I'd be like, yes, it's Afro on this side and Cuban on the other side.
I really wish you would have studied Spanish more. You could have used it more to your advantage in life.
You didn't even know. Just last week, somebody came up to me and asked me if I was Puerto Rican because he was hoping that we could have a conversation. And I was like, I am sorry, sir. No.
No one's ever asked me if I was ever any other race than what I am.
Is that because you're blonde with blue eyes?
I am.
You were rocking blonde hair. I didn't say it was your natural. 'Cause
Nothing's ever natural.
nothing is
about
ever
me.
natural with you. But when you have
Wait,
the bluest
Let me
eyes,
pop these contacts
I would
out.
say regardless.
They're Pacific blue. They're not the bluest possible.
Okay.
There are people with lighter blue eyes, and I'm always in envy of them.
Lighter is ridiculous.
No, I need those. I need like those completely crystal blue eyes, like the ones that say, "You
you
can't look at me in the face that long."
Yeah, you want some kind of like almost Children of the Corn type shit going on with
Yeah.
your face. I know.
I mean, you can buy them, I guess, today, but why buy them? I want them to be natural.
Colored contacts never look natural. They always look fucking weird. You know how I feel about colored contacts. I do not approve.
She used the term "colored people." I just want you to put that out there.
Wow, you are leaning extra hard into your colonization ways over here.
Okay.
It's too much.
Okay.
Dial it back.
So.
What about you, sir?
Oh, you're gonna ask me now, like you're
Yes.
interested in my life. I appreciate that.
I hate you.
I mean, I was always super fascinated with like Scottish and pagan and Irish, and I know that those are my people. But I'm also part French.
Okay.
So that makes me a bougie vampire. I don't know. I've always liked. I would like to know more about like the actual pagan. Whenever it was less like, they didn't have houses. It was kind of more of like, I don't know. I always get some
More
like
medieval.
So yeah, it's more medieval, kind of even more further beyond that. I always get like images of like what you would think a caveman would be, but like, paganism at the same time. So
I don't know. I love the comforts of our lives now. So
yeah, that's neat. Yeah, I mean,
That's
I wouldn't
neat.
give that up at all. But I mean, it would be nice to be able to like live in that. Oh, let's just meditate after this and like transport ourselves into another time.
Absolutely.
And then transcend our bodies into another consciousness and take on the persona of those people as they are participating in their magic or religion.
Sometimes it's not good that you work at a university. I just want you to know that. 'Cause then you start speaking like students, and
I'm not speaking like
Either
students.
that or he went to hippie camp last week, kids. He said he went out of town this weekend, but I think he went to a hippie camp.
Now,
Drinking that Kool-Aid.
I never drink the Kool-Aid unless I poured some for myself before mixing it. Do you have any other thoughts on any kind of tidbits, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Ooh, do I
with
have
witchcraft?
any concerns? No, I just think it's important for us to remember with witchcraft that it's not just European. It's not just what's always seen on TV. There's so many different ways to practice. White people ain't got the lock on magic. Okay.
Lavender dolphins.
People already know that I came out as a lavender dolphin witch. I don't know why you have to keep saying it.
Because people might not listen to the first podcast, and I feel that maybe they need to go back too.
It's just like then those people don't need to know. Maybe I shared a secret with a special few, and the fact that you keep outing me is the problem. We didn't discuss that.
Anyway.
Your final thoughts.
I don't know if they're final,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm just concerned, and I know we talked about it before. I'm just concerned with the history being gone. Nowadays, if it happened more than 50 years ago, that's ancient history. And civil rights is ancient history, and things like that. It was so long ago that people forget about things.
Yeah. Didn't help that a lot of it was passed down orally. That's really the thing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong orally.
Yes.
Passing things.
Well, he has that different, he has a special meditation on oral activities. That's people always say, if you could go back in time, what would you do? I might go back and tell some bitches, can you write some shit down? Because we're going to need this.
But would that cause a butterfly effect, though?
I'm sure it would.
Because you're more than likely going to have to teach these air quotes bitches, as you call them, how to write.
There's always somebody who snuck and learned, and I would. How long is the time machine? Okay, we got about 2 months.
This is a good name of a library. Snuck and learn.
That's right. So, if they didn't know, then I might, help you out. I'll bring you a little reader. I guess I'm imagining a time machine where I can go back and forth. You know what I mean?
So you're Bill and Tedding.
I am. I'm we're gonna pick this back up next Tuesday, girl, because I can't stay out here in the fields. That's not gonna work for me. So, I have to go back to my central air, which I don't have.
Maybe you should use your time machine to go forward and learn from people in the future that will be able to talk telepathically and teach through osmosis.
Ooh.
And then you can take that lesson that you learned in the future, go back in time, teach all your knowledge through osmosis and telepathy, because it's two separate things.
But now, if I did that, I feel that a lot of white people would be upset, because if I made the black people too strong, then America wouldn't be a first world country, because they got all their shit off of slaves, and so I would have just nipped that shit in the bud.
Well, maybe America wouldn't even exist.
Maybe not.
I mean, because
maybe it would be Wakanda
when they came
right
over,
motherfucking now.
Well, no, I don't think we'd be Wakanda. Let's not get crazy. I think Wakanda may be Wakanda and Wakanda. Well, it's a country that does not exist in Africa. For those who actually think it exists, because people really do. There is a Wakanda, Illinois, though, but it's spelled differently.
There's not still people who think that that's a real country. There just couldn't be. Not in their hearts.
There are people who just watch movies and don't
That's
Google
true.
and don't Wikipedia things during movies to find out truths.
Okay, you're right. Go ahead.
Anyway, so if you taught them all the things you needed to teach them, whenever the colonists came to get them to put them on boats to take them over, they would just murder us all.
No. I'd wait till they got here.
Oh.
Yeah, listen.
Oh, you want America?
Yeah, I want this country. It's just gonna be run by a bunch of black people. I'd be like, I wait till they got them all over here. Be like, no,
so now
listen,
you are talking Wakanda.
I am like, you outnumber these motherfuckers by a lot. All right, I'm gonna teach you this telepathy trick. Go forth and conquer.
Osmosis. Don't forget osmosis.
Okay, osmosis, all that.
Some people just need a little touch. Just touch them. Mm-hmm. And then they learn through your touch.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. I forgot about that part. I'm sorry.
Yes. I always have to be more specific. I always have to bring it back. Tell the facts. She's already making up lies. You give a woman an idea.
Oh, now we're gonna do that.
So, in your ideal America, your ideal America, there are no white people.
I didn't say there were no white people.
Well, we'd be the slaves.
I
saw that.
I believe in equality for all.
You couldn't even. I just
had a moment where I thought about it. I just had to weigh the decision in my heart.
And I also I'm really more concerned for that 0.003 part of my body. So what about the Native Americans?
Oh, I mean, obviously, we're going to restore them to their rights.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
I have always said that all minorities should get together, come together, be cohesive. When I was in college and whatnot, there was like this whole idea that, blacks and Latinx did not get along. That is, in my mind, that's not true. It didn't work in our
that's
group either.
because people think you're Latinx. I mean,
no, that's like
they all get along with you.
You know that you.
I know where it comes from.
You know where it comes
Street
from.
Shit. Yeah.
And also, it's like it wasn't true amongst our group. We were like, listen, all of us are suffering. Okay, the white kids don't want to play with us. All of us need to work together.
Right.
Work together and work it out. So, I mean, that was just an example with them. But, I mean, I've always felt like Native Americans have been treated so wrong. I was doing the timeline in my head again. I don't know how fucked up they would be, but we'd have to just go and get them like, okay, y'all survived. Join us.
Well, I mean, all the ones that were like killed off by smallpox and on the East Coast.
That's what I'm saying. Their numbers would still already have been dwindled. But I'd be like, you ain't got to stay in this shitty ass land. Mm-mm. Nah, girl.
I feel concerned.
No, equality for all, Bob, for real.
Okay, okay. As somebody whose family didn't come over until a lot later, and
so you're saying you weren't a part of it?
I mean, my families didn't get here until like the late 1700s, 1800s.
Okay.
So, like, they came over a little bit later. I'm not saying they weren't part of anything because you can't say. Oh, genealogy only says the dates they got here. They don't say what they did between dot and dot.
Okay.
Except for the ones that died quickly. I just, I don't know. I wouldn't exist in your world.
That is untrue. It's because in your mind you keep thinking all these bad things, like I have all these nefarious plans, and that is untrue, sir.
So what happens if you're doing all this in your timeline, and it really fucks up my timeline, and all my people stay in France, and then I'm the king of France?
Then you
because that is my lineage.
There you go. Then there you go. Then you'd be king.
King Louis the 300th. Yeah, I don't think we get that far.
No. I was gonna let you have a moment. Unlike when you don't let me have my moments.
You have moments
most of the time.
Believe me. So, any other fun? Since we had like complete randomness there at the end, do you have any fun other witchcraft Halloween type things to say to people? Since this will be released before Halloween, the Monday before Halloween.
I know I could just say Halloween 7 times like you, but
I'm saying it as many times as there are movies. Halloween.
What I would say is
Halloween.
you're never too old to learn. Kids, get out there and get you some knowledge. Use the Googles.
Yeah, learn. I mean, that's the shitter of it all. Like, if I had the access to knowledge that kids have today, I mean, If I ruled the world. No, I would have been a better student for sure.
You think so? You still have to have the desire. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just asking.
What's that supposed to mean?
See, that's why I clarified real fast because I knew he was going to take it personal.
I always take things personal because they're pointed at me. She literally pointed her
I was
finger at
saying
me.
you as in the general you, not just you as the person.
I don't know anybody else but me in the room.
Tell the people your final thoughts and then let's go because I'm gonna beat you later and I don't want
Ooh,
there to
she
be-
already thinks the world has changed. So, my final thoughts, kids. As I saw it on Jerry Springer Live one time, be good to one another. Wear a sexy Halloween costume. Be a sexy crayon this year. Be a sexy time-traveling hoodoo priestess who goes to the future, comes back to the past, teaches by telepathy and osmosis. And if you can come up with a costume with what I just gave you, I will literally give you $100.
Okay.
I want to see that posted on Instagram. Tag us in it. I want to see that costume. If you need me to run that down again, rewind the bitch because I ain't got time for it. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And remember that to be beautiful and natural is the birthright of every woman. And I wish you all loads and loads of loveliness and good luck.